good morning, I hope you're well today. My name is Becky and I'm from Kiddy Cook, and we are going to be making a stuffed flatbread. And we're going to stuff our flatbread. Once we've made the dough, we're going to stuff our flatbread with some cooked potatoes, carrots and peas. So let's have a look at what ingredients we need to make our flatbread. So we are going to be making our flatbread out of a mixture of two kinds of flour, plain flour and wholemeal flour. We're going to add a bit of salt and olive oil to our dough, and then we're going to make a filling using some cooked sweet potato and carrots and some peas. You might need to get a grown-up to help you with some elements of this, maybe have a watch of the video through first, and then you can see with your grown-up what help you might need. So once you've got your ingredients together, you need to get your equipment together. Here's your equipment. You need 2 bowls, one to mix your dough in and one to mix your filling in. You need a rolling pin, some scales, half a teaspoon for your salt, a peeler and a knife. The first ingredient you need to weigh out is your flour. Every set of scales is slightly different, but the most important thing is that you set it to 0, which means that when you put a bowl on it, it doesn't include the weight of the bowl. Have a look here. So we put our bowl on the scales, and then we need to press the button that makes it go to 0. So you'll see the number goes to 0, and then you know you're ready to put your flour in. So we're going to add in 50 grams of each kind of flour. So next we're going to add in our white flour. There we go, exactly 50. We are going to add in our half a teaspoon of salt, and 1 teaspoon of oil. There we go. And then we will just need some cold water just to bring it together. Slowly pour in a little bit of water, just a tiny bit initially, and just start to bring that together with a wooden spoon like this. Trying to press it all together, and then you'll see you need to add a bit more, because there's no way that that can start to form a ball of dough. And if you add a bit too much, it's okay, because you can always add a bit more flour. Okay, that is starting to come together a little bit. So I'm going to bring my clean hands in there. I have washed them for 20 seconds. So I'm going to bring my clean hand, and then you want to start to squish it together so that it all forms a dough, a ball of dough, just like this. Maybe one more little drizzle, so literally just like a drop, tiny little drop. Sometimes it gets a bit too much, even if you put a tiny drop, and then you can just add a few little sprinkles of flour. Okay, so now it's formed a nice ball of dough. So now you want to have a look at the time. You want to knead it for about 5 minutes. Okay, so I'll show you what that looks like for a bit, and then I'll turn the camera off because it might be boring. So keep it in the bowl so you don't make too much mess, and then just keep pressing the ball of dough around like this. And what will happen after about 5 minutes or so is it'll get nice and soft and springy. So just keep going. This is really good for your arm muscles, so you can swap over to use the other hand as well, so that both of your hands get all those muscles working nicely there. Okay, so I'm going to carry on doing this, and I'll see you again in about 5 minutes. So now we've finished kneading our dough, so I'm just going to set it aside to let it rest a little bit. So an hour or less is fine, but an hour ideally, and just to let it rest and come together, and we can prepare our vegetables in the meantime. Okay, so we're going to prepare our vegetables to go into our stuffed flatbread. We're doing carrots and potatoes and peas, so we need to peel our carrots and potatoes and then put them in a pan of boiling water. So you might need to get a grown-up to help you with that. So here are our supplies for this. So we have our sweet potato and our carrot. So we're going to peel these. Now you need to be very careful with the peel, obviously, because this is very, very sharp. So holding it nice and steady in your hand, we can put it down onto the table and then really gently pulling the peeler. Once you've peeled your veggies, it's time to cut them. You might want to get a grown-up to help you with this bit because they are very hard vegetables, and I will show you how we cut. So we have two cutting techniques that are recommended. One is the claw, where we make a claw and tuck our fingers out the way, and we're going to use that one now. So you're going to hold your potato down nice and firmly, and then put your knife down onto the potato and very solidly put the point down, and then follow with the rest of the knife. Point down and follow down, point down and follow down. So it stays nice and solid. And then once you've got your little dices, you can do the same thing, fingers out of the way, to make little squares which will cook down easily in our pan. Here are our chopped up carrots and sweet potatoes. So we've put some water into the bottom of the pan, and now we're going to put them on to steam or to boil. So here are our carrots, peas and sweet potatoes cooking through, so they're ready for us to mash. So we're now just going to roughly mash this all up together. Doesn't need to be too finely done. Ooh. And now we've got it much more mashed up together. We're going to just add in half a teaspoon curry powder. And then you can add more to taste if you would like a little bit of extra flavour, just depending on what you like. The half a teaspoon is literally just enough to give a nice little flavour. If you like it a bit spicy, then you can add a bit more, but what we've added so far won't be spicy, it just adds a nice flavour. Okay, right, we're going to put that to one side and we're going to get our dough out of the bowl. So now we've let our dough rest a little bit, we're going to take it and we're going to divide it into three pieces like this. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to lightly flour the surface here. And then we'll put one piece of dough down. And we're going to roll it into a disc. And then we're going to take about a tablespoon of our lovely mix, maybe a bit much, and put a pinch up the edges till they're all sealed like so. And it looks a bit like a pasty. nice and sealed, or they're still all sealed up. And then we'll just very gently start to roll it out again. Like so. Till about 3 millimeters or so thick. Like this. Here are our 3 flatbreads, ready for cooking in the pan. We are going to dry fry our flatbreads, which means that we are not putting any oil or anything in the pan. We're just going to make our pan nice and hot, and then we'll put the flatbreads in. I am going to be using my trusty cast iron pan, but any pan will work as long as it's not going to stick. If you think there's a possibility it will stick, then do put a little bit of oil in there. So I'm going to turn this up nice and high and bring my flatbreads over. So our pan is now nice and hot, so I'm going to just take a flatbread and pop it in like this. And just give them a few moments to seal on the bottom. And here you can see what they look like. I'm kind of halfway through. I'm just going to let them have a little longer without burning. Trying not to let them burn. Just to make sure that that pastry that dough is cooked right through, especially with the wholemeal flour. You want to give it a proper chance. But this is what they look like. I hope you enjoy.